Hi again! In this video, we will get to know the listening comprehension structure for the TOEFL exam. In this case, we will break apart the listening section for a better understanding of the strategies, abilities, hints, and everything you need to get the best possible score. You will have a clear view of the process and how it starts and how it ends. You can check the related videos for practices in every part in detail. Take notes so you can have the best of it. The listening comprehension section is the first in the exam, so as soon as you have finished completing your personal information in your answer sheet, you must prepare your mind for listening strategies. It is very common that many people find it the most difficult since most people do not have any experience in English by phone or speakers, as if you were in an airport where the experience is very similar. Moreover, you do not have any background support such as body language, gesture expressions, or any other hint. While you combine all these ingredients in the first section, you may feel very nervous, increasing your anxiety. So, you must know every single part of this section to be ready and comfortable. As a general strategy to start section 1, just relax to diminish your anxiety and nervousness. Trust your preparation for this moment. Unlike most people believe, music is not the best way to prepare for the listening section. Music is arranged in a way that is a lot easier to understand, and the difference between music and real audios is quite a lot. In short, music would do just a little bit or none to be ready for this exam. Okay, it is time to break the section for you. First, you must identify this section. It is really easy since it is displayed on top of every page with the number 1 inside a square, just as you can see in this slide. All the listening section is arranged with this number so you know where you are. Now that you know how to identify this section, you must know that it is divided in 3 parts. Part A, Dialogues, with 30 items. Part B, Extended Conversations. 2 conversations where you answer between 7 and 8 items. Part C, Mini Talks. 3 talks where you answer between 12 and 13 items. You will have 50 items to answer in around 30 minutes, and the skills required to answer correctly are different in every part. Before we start with the detailed explanation, you must know that the examination is held by a CD player. Therefore, once it starts, it is impossible to stop unless you reach the pause. Other than that, the CD must go until it finishes without any interruption. Now, let's dissect listening section. The organization is very simple and we can easily divide the process in 3 steps. First, you are listening to a warm welcoming to the TOEFL exam and will be guided to explain the general rules and procedures. Once this is over, you immediately reach second step. Here is a step before the real exam starts. This is the only moment you have to ask any question, point out any other problems, such as echo, low volume, or any other difficulty you may have. In case everything is in order, we immediately reach third step. The track starts and the first you will listen to is the guide to break the seal in your booklet, and the listening section would have officially started and no interruptions or disturbances of any kind may stop the recording. From this moment, the CD will guide the full listening section until it finishes. Now the real game starts. Be ready and focus. Now that your seal is broken and you have opened the booklet, you will listen to the general instructions of the exam. Here, you have an example of how they are written and how they sound in the exam. If possible, use some speakers to mimic the sensation as you listen to these instructions. In the real exam, you can read and listen at the same time. So, Take this little moment as a close approach to reality.
This section tests your ability to comprehend spoken English. It is divided into 3 parts, each with its own directions. You are not permitted to turn the page during the reading of the directions or to take notes at any time.
As you can see, this experience is really helpful before going to the exam because you can have an idea of how the voice and the volume have an effect in your understanding, although you have the instructions written out in front of you. After the general instructions are over, it is time to start part A. Here is how the instructions look and what they state. Now listen to the audio so you can have the full experience. Remember to use some speakers to mimic the environment the most possible.
Part A. Directions. Each item in this part consists of a brief conversation involving 2 speakers. Following each conversation, a third voice will ask a question. You will hear the conversations and questions only once, and they will not be written out. When you have heard each conversation and question, read the 4 answer choices and select the one, A, B, C, or D, that best answers the question based on what is directly stated or on what can be inferred. Then fill in the space on your answer sheet that matches the letter of the answer that you have selected. Here is an example.
Now, pay attention in the bottom right and you will see the word wait inside a circle. You will find this mark at the end of every section. Do not pass the page until you are told to do so or you might be penalized. Let's continue with part B. Here you have the instructions and the audio. Take a deep breath and enjoy your preparation. Here we go.
Part B. Directions. This part of the test consists of extended conversations between 2 speakers. After each of these conversations, there are a number of questions. You will hear each conversation and question only once, and the questions are not written out. When you have heard the questions, read the 4 answer choices and select the one, A, B, C, or D, that best answers the question based on what is directly stated or on what can be inferred. Then fill in the space on your answer sheet that matches the letter of the answer that you have selected.
Nice! Little by little, your ear is getting used to the speed, tone, and voice. Good job! Let's finish with part C. Here we go.
Part C. Directions. This part of the test consists of several talks, each given by a single speaker. After each of these talks, there are a number of questions. You will hear each talk and question only once, and the questions are not written out. When you have heard each question, read the 4 answer choices and select the one, A, B, C, or D, that best answers the question based on what is directly stated or on what can be inferred. Then fill in the space on your answer sheet that matches the letter of the answer that you have selected. Here is an example.
And this is how we finish introducing the general structure for part 1. We strongly suggest that you repeat the video as much as you need to get used to the instructions, the different parts, and what you have to do in them. Once the exam is over, you will see in the bottom right the word stop inside the next second. This is the moment when you can relax and prepare for section 2. We haven't finished yet. Before you go, let me give you the general strategies for the listening section. In further videos, you will have the chance to practice every part in detail and the specific strategies will be shown. However, these strategies work nicely as a general preparation for the whole section. The most important is to stay focused. Don't get distracted. It is your exam and you must be totally dedicated to it. Sometimes you may hesitate because you only have one shot, but you must keep going. If you feel you have answered incorrectly, do not overthink. Just let it go and be ready for the next answer. Don't let your emotions control you, especially if those emotions are negative. This video has been produced to give you the instructions as they are in the exam. So watch it again and get to know the instructions. At least, you would have a breath every time the instructions are given. And this is how the listening section is over. Your exam will go immediately to section 2 though, so don't relax completely. There is still some job to do. Tell us in the comments what are you doing to improve your listening skills for the exam. If you like this video, check this other one in here. It may help you as well. Certified English, English for your goals.